Jeff for Chicago Jazz Magazine, ChicagoJazz.com, and welcome to another episode of Around Town. Today we've got two interviews. We're going to try to cover a few different artists on these Around Towns moving forward. So the first one I have here is with Eric Jacobson. Of course, he was on a longer version. We did a nice interview with him, I don't know, a couple of months ago when he was bringing out his new recording. While he's going into the studio on October 29th after his hits at the Green Mill, which is October 27th and 28th. So we're going to hear all about that. Eric, welcome to the show. And let's talk about this Green Mill set, man. You've got it coming up on the 27th and 28th with your quintet.
Absolutely. Mike, thanks for having me. Really appreciate it. Yeah, I'm so excited. This quintet, to me, it just, you've played a lot with different musicians, and for some reason, this just is a magical setting of musicians. And so I'm excited to get them together again. And we're going to be playing a lot of my originals. I wrote a lot of tunes for this session / for the Green Mill. So I'm really excited to explore the music with them and just kind of get to sit back and check out what they get to do with this, this music.
So October 27th and 28th, talk about who's in the band.
Yep. So we're at the Green Mill, 27th and 28th, and we have Jeff Bradfield on tenor sax. We have the great Bruce Barth coming from New York on piano, the amazing Dennis Carroll on bass, and the one and only George Flutis on drums. So it's just a great lineup, and I'm really excited for it.
Talk about the connection between you and Bruce, because I know some people might know Bruce, some people might not, but they probably know his work. So talk a little bit about Bruce. You've been playing with him for a while, both in New York, and he's been here a couple of times with you as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I met him, it's got to be about now 7 years ago in New York, and just hit it off in regards to just, such a great person, down to earth guy. And he asked me to sit in, and then he came back to Milwaukee with his trio at one point, and I got to play with him. And then he, from then on, it's been like, when can we play it again? And when we can, hook up again. So it's been a great relationship, musically and off music as well.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it's always great to establish relationships and friendships with musicians, especially when you're playing original music, because that connection has to go through the whole music. And I'm sure that it helps get what you are interpreting in your music and take it to another level creativity wise. So they can all hear that October 27th and 28th at the Green Mill, of course, 4802 North Broadway. All roads lead to Uptown, as the great Dave Gemolo always says. greenmilljazz.com. And then you're going in the studio the next day with the same group for your second Origin recording. Talk a little bit about that one.
Yeah, super excited. The first album with this same group called Discover did really well, climbed the jazz charts and all. And this time it's going to be all of my original tunes, and I'm really excited for that. We're recording at Transient Sound, and it's just going to be, I'm super excited to see, like I said, they make my music come to life. And with the relationships that we've had, I'm very like, I wear my, feelings on my sleeve, they say, right. And I think that the music will convey that as well. So I'm really excited to get in the session with them, and that's on Sunday, the 29th. So yeah, that'll be out, maybe within the next 6 months after that. So.
Oh man, you just keep lining them up and setting them up. But I do like the idea about you guys playing 2 nights in a row and then going in the studio. So there isn't any let's reconnect, let's try to warm up and get together. You guys are already going to be ripping all weekend, and then you go into the studio. I love that idea. All right. So ericjacobsontrumpet.com, all the information, all his recordings are there, of course, his calendar and all the news, and you can watch and see when the new recording comes out. But of course, go and see him at the Green Mill, 8 to midnight, October 27th and 28th. And Eric, thanks for jumping on for a quick hit, man. I am glad to promote this, and congratulations on keeping things moving and always keeping to create this great music.
Thank you, Mike. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. All right, now everybody stay around, because we're going to move on. I've got Brett Dean coming up next, and we're going to talk about the Shout Section big band shows. Hey, everybody, it's Mike Jeffers. Of course, you just watched the other interview I did with Eric Jacobson, and we are doing a twofer today on Around Town, a new format we're kicking off here this week, and that way we can cover more shows. And this next guest, I should say, is Brett Dean. He's the founder of the Shout Section Big Band, and they've got a recording out called Swing Forward, and they're going to be doing a album release show on October 25th at the Jazz Showcase, 8 p.m. and 10 p.m. sets, I'm assuming, the standard stuff. 806 South Plymouth Court in Chicago. Brett, how are you, man? Congratulations on the new recording.
Doing great. Oh, thanks. And thanks for letting me come on the show here today, Mike.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I know we talked like a couple of years ago, I think it was now,
Yeah.
but now that things are up running and getting back in fashion, I'm glad we're reconnected, even if it's virtual.
Absolutely.
But hey, let's talk about this new recording. And you've got, I saw the listing on the Jazz Showcase website. It's Shout Section Big Band featuring Tatum Langley. So you've got a vocalist with you, and it's kind of an exciting vocalist. She's been out on tour with a somewhat famous group, I believe. So why don't you fill us all in about that?
Absolutely. Well, about a year ago, I got a message through the interwebs that I might know a vocalist that had previously gone to school and worked with one of my jazz mentors, Mark Buselian, in Indianapolis, working at when I was there at Butler University, and she had him over at Ball State. And I was impressed by the work she had done over there. So we had her come sing with the Shout Section Big Band up here when she moved back to Elmhurst. And I'm telling you, Mike, I couldn't have been more blown away by her talent and ability. What really kind of struck me is both of us, all of us, have the fortune of working with these great vocalists around the Chicago area. But it's always really nice when somebody like very young, like right out of college young, has an enthusiasm for the music that isn't just a passing fancy. It's like a deep interest in the music. Kind of takes an actor's approach to the music, really digs into the lyrics. So Tatum's been singing with us, and she was spotted through some of her video work. She's one of these young people, that is able to like put everything up online and convert a lot of her work to online presentation and stuff like that, and got noticed by Postmodern Jukebox and Scott Bradley. So she's been out there working with them. She did a tour in June, I believe. And I think they did sort of a coast to coast thing, kind of the Northern Plains, Vancouver, kind of went west to east, and then ended up over in New York somewhere. I think they did Montreal, places like that, big towns, coast to coast. And I guess she's going to go do a little bit more with them. Right before Christmas time, she's going to do November and early December with them. So while we're, always sad when she has to leave town for a little bit, I can't help but think that, that's a pretty good opportunity and a pretty good show to be a part of.
Oh, it is. And I mean, the fact that she's learning all of this stuff and she's so young, and I love the fact that she does a deep dive and she goes backwards. And that's obviously why Postmodern was very interested in her. She has that sound, but she has the understanding of the music, which ties in perfectly with Shout Section Big Band, because I know you guys really hunker down into that older swing music, but then of course you can play more modern things and you can do all sorts of stuff with the players you have. So the new recording Swing Forward, which you're doing the release show for October 25th at the Jazz Showcase, what can people expect to hear on that new recording?
On that one, I wish there was a deeper philosophy maybe behind how I originally planned it. It was started out with songs I like that simply don't get played or performed enough. The life of a big band musician, is kind of like playing corner pocket on every gig, or, there are certain charts that appear every time, every place you go. But there's a lot of great material. If you just kind of scratch beneath the surface, there's so many great songs in so little time. And I just felt like it was time to get some of those to kind of pop up to the surface. And then after we started to work with Tatum a little bit and kind of got to know where her feelings lie, and what her strengths were, and there are many, but kind of figure out where her musical strengths lie, we we found this like crazy niche of like British invasion music converted into swing. Like, found some great arrangements of Rolling Stones tunes and Beatles tunes, one of which, Can't Buy Me Love. It was an old Ella Fitzgerald recording from late in her career, that maybe a lot of people don't know about, and so it kind of goes along with our philosophy of, like, they're great tunes that get played all the time, but what's on the B side of that record? Or what are some things, what are the lesser known Count Basie tunes, the lesser known Woody Herman tunes, the lesser known Thad Jones tunes? We kind of go after those a little bit, because, as I said and keep repeating, there's just so much good stuff out there.
Well, there is, and you guys are keeping this alive. Obviously, you're not only playing at the Jazz Showcase, which you're doing October 25th as an album release. You do a regular monthly over at Andy's. You do things at Fitzgerald's. You're all over the place. So everything is at shoutsection.com. But of course, October 25th is where you should go see them at the Jazz Showcase with Tatum Langley and the band. Yep. Very exciting stuff. I'm looking forward to working with you more on a couple of different projects we were talking about offline, which I think could be very cool in 2024. So that's going to be exciting.
Absolutely.
And Brett, congratulations. Thanks for jumping on for this quick hit on Around Town.
Thanks, Mike.
And, I hope everybody goes and checks you out on October 25th.
Can't wait. We'll see him there. Thanks, Mike.
Absolutely. And of course, thanks to everybody for watching. I appreciate all the information that everybody sends in. We're going to try to get more and more musicians on these short Around Towns each week. Of course, everything's at chicagojazz.com. And until next time, hopefully I see somebody out on the scene.